everybody.
Good morning.
So we have a power outage. So we're going with Plan B, which I'm not mad about because I do love a low light. So things are going to be slightly different today. We're just going to go with the flow, and we're going to use performance tracks that'll play through my little speaker here. And we're going to have a wonderful service. So enjoy the low light. Hopefully we'll all be comfortable and the temperature will be okay. We do have a sliding glass door open. So let's just all breathe together and go with it. So let's take a deep breath. We talk every day. Yeah.
Good.
So let's just give, do you need time pointing to get anything?
I have no control yet.
Just when you want the lights to be out. I don't mind a power outage at home either, because the house gets really quiet, no computers buzzing. It's just wonderful. Are you ready? You're set up. Do I turn this off? Oh, we don't have
Pull.
it yet.
Pull the wire out.
You need your light back?
Which one's that? Is that your computer?
Sounds like it's in here.
Houston, where I go. Thank goodness I can shift on a dime here. Let's take a deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Just settle in. Knowing that everything is perfect and it's unfolding. And so we just settle in and embrace what is in this moment. Exactly where we are in life. We don't resist, we don't fight. There's no need to change, to alter what is happening. For as we let go and let God and let go, there's nothing but good. All good things around us. All good things in and through us and as us. All life, all power is within us. All life, all power is expressing as us in this glorious moment. So we can rejoice and be glad. Rejoice and just be glad. So now, with gladness and gratitude in our hearts, we now sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer. Words by U.S. Anderson. This is a section entitled, All Life Exists Within One Mind. In order to truly understand this, we must return once again to universal subconscious mind, the mind we all use and live in. Tess, can you flip those lights just so I can read? This is better. Thank you, man. This mind or intelligence is not in man alone, but in every living thing. Behold the process of evolution, and you will see desire being projected into the universal mind and returning in physical reality. The fish experiences land and desires to walk and become a reptile. The reptile experiences air and desires to fly and become a bird. The reptile desires size and strength and becomes a horse. Bears, wolves, tigers, lions, snakes, everything that creeps and crawls and flies and swims and burrows and builds and desires, all are results of thought or desire projected into the universal creative mind of God. The fish has fins, the polar bear's fur is white. The chameleon changes colors to blend with the foliage. Every reaching desire of conscious life is answered from a great inexhaustible source, without regard to suffering or good or evil, but simply an answer to conception and desire. Should the temperature of this earth drop 100 degrees, life would survive and adapt and evolve in different form. Should the earth and planets fade away, life would survive and adapt. For desire is life, and life is change, and change is progress. And they all answer one immutable law. Deformity in the newborn babe may seem a hideous injustice as we view it in terms of our own selves in a kind of self-identification. Yet the distant future may hold a day when mankind in physical form will not need arms or even legs, or may occupy a form that today would be regarded as horror by everyone. For today our thought conceptions of ourselves are what we see in actuality, and we are so firmly convinced of the reality of this evidence and the permanence of it that we cannot conceive of change in any other life than than monstrousness or deformity. The subconscious mind, or God, does not recognize suffering or pain or war or famine or disease. It recognizes only conception and desire, or thought and emotion, and it recognizes them only one way, by creating them into actuality.
A quick story to tell you. This book I'm pitching again now that Kim is having us read out of it for sure. It is a wonderful explanation of our Unity principles, although it's not a Unity book, so make sure you find it on Amazon. So this morning I couldn't find my keys, and I was ready to go. I was even early. Well, I spent 10 minutes looking, 15 minutes looking, and I started looking in the laundry room, in the washing machine, everything that where they shouldn't be, and every place they weren't. And all this time I'm thinking, I should really just ask, right? Just ask, where are my keys? And I'm able, when I do ask, to get answers. So finally, I picked up my little notebook that I write notes in and sat down and asked, where are my keys? And I wrote it down. And I get this picture of yesterday when I was walking. I had my hand in my pocket and there were my keys. And I thought, I want to remember where my keys are. And I got that vision, and there they were. So, prayer works, folks, and just ask. That's what our reading is about today. This is about creation, and again, from 3 magic words. There are only 2 things you can do for yourself. One is conception, the desire, the the idea that we just heard about. And the other is conviction. All the work of creation rests with another than you. For no man is responsible for anything in this life except his thought and his belief. All else is the working of the great, creative, universal mind. Jesus said, "Come unto me, all of you who are burdened and heavily laden, and I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Can we now gain an inkling of what this great man so thoroughly understood? He says, speaking of his miracles of healing, "It is not I who doeth the works, but the Father who dwelleth within me." He knew the responsibility of creation was not his. He knew that a power far greater than he would resolve into actuality any thought which he was convinced of. He did not stand at Lazarus' grave and restore Lazarus to life by a process of effort. He knew that Lazarus would rise. Beyond that, his responsibility, the responsibility, was no longer his. There can be but little doubt but what the same power that responded to Jesus and restored Lazarus to life would, if approached with the same conviction, could cause Lazarus to die. This power manifests evil as well as good. For it does not differentiate between the two. It simply creates according to image and conviction. Thus with all evil. God sendeth his rain on the just and the unjust alike. For evil befalls the righteous and the unrighteous. But it cannot visit him who sees and is convinced of nothing but good. So our affirmation today, which you can repeat after me, I'll say it once and then we can repeat it. Unless you got a slide.
We do.
We did.
All right, let's do it. I
I
know
know only good for my life.
I know only good
for my life.
I know
only good for my life.
Thursday night, I had the pleasure of hearing this gentleman play with 3 other musicians. And playing the music of Pat Metheny is one of my favorite jazz musicians and composers. And so that just like lit a fire, and I've been listening to nothing but his music since Thursday night. And as often happens with me, a particular song will hit me, and I listen to it over and over, and it's just on repeat all day long. I'll listen to it in the morning, I listen to it at night. And so this particular song, Farmer's Trust, just grabbed hold of me Thursday night, and so that's been on repeat since then. And poor Quentin's probably thinking, will she just stop playing that song? Because every time I move to a different room, I turn on a different speaker, and it's just, for some reason, songs consume me at different times. But what I started to hear from one repetition to another were different instruments, different harmonies. It's interesting. So I really, Pat Metheny's a guitarist, and on this particular song, Lionel Mays is playing piano, and really, all I heard in the beginning was piano and guitar. And I'm just lost in piano and guitar. And then, for some reason, this morning, I went to the notes about the song. I wanted to view the credits, and it listed these other musicians, and I thought, man, I'm not really noticing percussion. And I went back and I'm listening again, and I turned up the song a little louder. So I'm listening again, and then I hear the percussion under everything else, floating under these wonderful, wonderful melodies and harmonies. And then I started to hear bird song, which is probably the percussionist is doing that. And it all just kind of blended and expanded into this. All of a sudden, I'm hearing a different song 3 days later than what I first heard on Thursday night. And it just kind of, it just made me smile. I had goosebumps this morning when I'm listening to the song for probably the 356th time. And it was a new song. And yet it was a familiar song because the thread started Thursday night. And it's been carrying me since then. It's interesting how life mirrors spirituality and spirituality mirrors life. That it's all one thing. And I can find a spiritual message probably in everything. And so as I'm thinking about spiritual expansion, as we're thinking about our word that we have picked for the year, the word that you have chosen, this energy that you've chosen, is not something different that you've added. It's another harmony in your song. It's another instrument in your song. It's something you didn't hear or notice before, but now all of a sudden it's queued up and you're hearing or feeling yourself as an expanded song. And I think that's really what enlightenment is. That all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, in this beautiful progression, we're finding more layers. We're hearing more things, as in a song. That things that you didn't notice before, like that bird song, I didn't know was there until I was ready to hear it. And that's, I think, what happens to life in spiritual expansion. That you start moving into something when it's time to move into it, and when you're ready for it, whatever it is. And it's just a more colorful tapestry. Like all of a sudden you're noticing different threads in the same tapestry. So maybe you didn't notice hints of orange or blue. And all of a sudden you look at that blanket and you said, I didn't know that was in there before. Didn't notice it. All you saw before was yellow or orange. And now all of a sudden these other colors are making themselves known to you. So I think within ourselves, all of a sudden different colors, different notes, different harmonies of you start to notice, and you start to express, and you start to live and breathe. And I think that's where the richness that we are starts to be unveiled to us and to others around us. That all of a sudden, the people that you know and that have known you forever are looking at you and saying, what's going on with you? Did you cut your hair? Did you get highlights? Got a new girlfriend? What's happening? What's happening here? Something's different. And you may not know what that is, and you may not be able to put your finger on it, but something feels different now. All of a sudden, you're singing with background singers, and you don't know when they showed up. First there was one, then there was a second one, and and that person added in a layer or harmony you didn't hear before, and then there's 3 or 4. Before you know it, you got a mass choir singing your song, which is your life here on this planet. And you don't know when it changed, but all of a sudden it felt different. It sounded different, like that song sounds different to me now than it did Thursday night. The colors get richer. You notice more of yourself. You look in the mirror and you don't recognize the person you're looking at in this moment, because the glint in those eyes are different than the glint in the eyes a week before or a moment before. So as we think about these words we've chosen, I invite you to think about it not as something that is showing up suddenly or something new that you're going to incorporate into your life, but that there was something in there, some chord, some harmony of you that you just didn't hear before. It was always there, waiting to be played, waiting to be seen, waiting to be harnessed. So in New Thought philosophy, and unity is a part of New Thought, we are whole, perfect, and complete. When we came here in physical expression, we came fully formed in potentiality. And that we are what we say is the Christ. So it's Jesus the Christ, not Jesus Christ, and Christ is Jesus' last name. Jesus is the Christ, and each of us is the Christ. We have the Christ principle as part of our innate beingness. And our work in this life is to express the Christ, unconditional love, that conviction that Nancy was reading about, that I read about, that conviction that you are one with Spirit, one with God, and that is a Christ principle. Jesus the Christ knew indubitably, I love that word, I know, indubitably, it's got like 12 syllables, knew that he was one with the Father, and whatever he spoke into existence had to manifest. So again, when he raised Lazarus from the dead, he didn't wonder if Lazarus was going to get up. He knew. He knew as he spoke the words that Lazarus was going to get up. And with that same conviction, we get to speak things into our lives. In New Thought philosophy, we believe that we have that Christ principle, so we have that same power that Jesus had. However, we're working on having the same level of conviction that he had. So right now, we wander around and we run around like chickens without heads, hoping stuff's going to work out. Hoping we can find love. Hoping we can have a better job. Hoping that that gig you always wanted is going to come through. That you audition for something and you're going to have it. That you want to have more abundance in your life. It's going to happen. But we worry about it, and we wonder, and we say, okay, I asked for that, I have an affirmation, but I'm not sure, do I deserve it or don't I deserve it? Or one day you're feeling real powerful, and you know that's going to happen, and you're acting as if, because that's important too, that you have that energy of the wish fulfilled, as Wayne Dyer says, and actually I think it was Neville Goddard who said it first, the wish fulfilled has already come into fruition. So you're feeling all powerful, but then you wake up the next day and you're thinking, I don't know, it hasn't happened yet. I don't see it in my bank account, so what's happening? I'm not sure. Okay, it's not going to happen because I don't deserve it. And I've always, it's always been feast or famine for me. And then you start to spiral down. And then in the meantime, you're sending mixed signals to the universe with a capital U. Your conviction is wavering. The indubitably has disappeared. You got doubt. You have doubt. I was just reading something further in that book, 3 Magic Words, this morning, and it says if you got do and then don't do, yes, then no, and you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, then the law cannot be, law with a capital L, logos, cannot do anything because there's nothing to do. You haven't honed in on anything yet. You haven't said what you want. And you keep going back and forth so it can do nothing. So, universe just waiting for you to make up your mind. Where's your conviction? Find your conviction. Where's your faith? Grow your faith. Work on your faith. What's going to happen? What level is your conviction in the moment? So with our words, you have to know that you are that. Whatever word you chose, you have to know you are that. Know that it was always there. Know that it was divinely ordained from before the time that you showed up here in the manifest world. That it is already a part of you, and you are just going to harness it and express it now. That you're going to start playing those extra harmonies. That is you. That is a new harmony you didn't recognize before, waiting to be played. And it's going to make the song that you are richer. It's going to make your life richer. And then one day you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to say, oh, there you are. There you are. That's the me I was affirming earlier in 2026. And during the year, if you're doing your work, if you're doing your affirmations, if you're grateful for this energy that is that word for you in your life, and that you are starting to be that thing, and that as you go through your days, your mind is starting to prompt you to be that thing in particular circumstances, and you start to step out and step into it and embrace it and love it and live it and express it and be grateful for it, then you'll see things happening. It's kind of like you'll have this progression of expression. Progression of expression. I like that. You'll have a progression of expression. You'll start to express more and more of it as the months go on. And then by the end of the year, you're enjoying the new you. But that you was always there. That you was always there. Hear that again. That you was always there, waiting for you to sing that song. You don't have to go anywhere to find it. You don't have to have anybody give it to you. You don't even have to pray for it. You just have to claim it. I am that. It was divinely ordained. For this I was born. This is who I am. I have this thing in abundance, and I love expressing it. And just be that light. Another frequency. and just enjoy it and be there. Too many times I think this growth or transformation or expansion in our lives, we think of as work. Got to do my work. And I say that, got to do my spiritual work. I do my work. But it's not work. It doesn't take effort. What it takes is decree and declare it and move into it and let Spirit, let the Christ in you prompt you at every opportunity to express that thing in a way you've never expressed it before. Listen for it. That's why we go into the silence, to hear and to practice that every day. And so that as you go through your day, you'll hear that still small voice prompting you to expand, prompting you to do a new thing. The universe is really only saying to you in every single moment, shine your light, baby, shine your light. That's all the universe is saying every day. And what Nancy read is that really all it takes is conception and conviction. Visualize it, see it, create it, claim it, say it's yours, say it is here now, have that conviction, and you are indubitably stepping forward as that. Let's take this in a meditation. Where is your conviction? What's your level of conviction right now about whatever it is that's prompting you to step forward in life? What's this energy, the word? What is the word you've chosen that has chosen you? What is this new? Quote-unquote new energy that wants you to express it? And have you said yes, unequivocally, unapologetically, to harnessing it in your life? What's your level of conviction? Have you said yes, boldly, firmly, knowing that it is indeed done? And are you willing to step forward to go the distance between where you are now and full conviction? Are you willing to hang in there? Are you willing to keep seeing yourself as whole, perfect, and complete? Perfection meaning whole. With everything that you need to express as you conceive yourself expressing. Knowing that everything that you need or desire in the moment is already within you, waiting for you to say yes. Let's go into the quiet for a bit and listen to your soul speak. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale. We are deeply grateful for divine wisdom and intelligence that expresses in us and as us, guiding us forward in each moment to our highest and best. We are deeply grateful for choice, for being able to choose how we experience life, no matter what comes down our path. We are deeply grateful for the light that each person shines, which gives us permission to shine as brilliantly as we can shine in any given moment. And so we say yes and thank you for growth and expansion, for the ability to see and discern new harmonies, new instrumentation within our own song that is our life and our beingness and our unique expression that no one else has like we do. And so we say yes and thank you to life and love, to the Christ principle, to Jesus, our way shower, our brother, who gave us the formula to live a life overflowing with wishes fulfilled. We say yes and thank you for all good things overflowing into our lives and into this community. And so it is, and so it shall be.